Let me start with asking you a question. A simple one. What is fear? What is fear to you? Well, to me, it's not as cliche as, a chainsaw wielding motherfucker with a penis for a nose and laser eyes. Or, I don't know, something different than that. To me, fear is something that I don't know. The uncertainty, the lack of something, the lack of direction, the lack of landmarks, the lack of awareness. That is fear to me. And if that rings a bell, well, you might be thalassophobic. But what is thalassophobia, or however it's pronounced? Well, according to Wikipedia, it's the persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the sea, oceans, pools, or lakes. Though very closely related, thalassophobia should not be mistaken with aquaphobia, which is classified as the fear of water itself. But yeah, I would agree. Now, if you were to ask me, deadass, right now, what are you afraid of? I wouldn't know. I've been playing video games my whole entire life. And my go-to genre are RPGs and survival horror games. So why do I go with this long-winded introduction to talk about the fear of the void that is the deep sea?
Why?
Well, it's because today I wanted to talk about a little game called Subnautica. So I'm guessing you already know what the game is and what it entails. I'm guessing. Maybe you've seen PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Markiplier.
Okay, I know I said that I'm not afraid of the game because I have nothing left to lose. This is still horrible. This the fucking me.
Many other more YouTubers and Twitch streamers and everyone else playing this game. To me, this game is one of the most excruciating, anxiety-driven things I've had to deal with. Why? Because as I said before, I'm not really into the void of the water. It gives me anxiety to be in a body of water and not touching the floor. So you would understand that being left alone with only sea, it's not my go-to experience for a relaxing Sunday afternoon. But I really wanted to play it because that's the thing. I felt as it was an enticing game. And of course, I wanted to experience it. So I bought the game and I played it. And I saw two things. First is an incredible game. It's an indie game. You wouldn't know it from the start, as a first class. But it is actually an indie game. A great one. And the second thing I discovered was that I'm very slow with progress in this game. Not that the game is slow. The game can be as fast as you want it to be. I just have a hard time going through some parts in the game where I cannot see anything. Where I can only see the blue of the water. And don't even get me started with the dead zone, where everything is black as far as the eye can see. But what compelled me to play this game? Well, I said I have no time to be a bitch. So I'll just, play the fucking game and be done with it. And I actually love it. I go to work, I come back, and I want to play it. I want to experience it again. I want to do all of these things, right? So, what is it about? Well, the story is simple. It starts with you crash landing in an alien world where the majority of the planet itself is water. So you have to gather resources, you have to do all of these things in order to craft a place to stay, food, water, your basic necessities, and of course boats and submarines and all this shit's pretty cool. But then again, you have to survive. That's the point. You have to keep your sanity. Well, not your sanity, but you have to keep everything in check. You have to keep your food, your hunger, and everything else. Now, that would be all fine and dandy if, it were the Earth, where we would know what we're dealing with, right? Well, no. We don't know around 40% of our own sea, of our own massive body of water that we have here on Earth. We just don't know what it holds. Now, imagine being in an outside world, in a world where you don't belong, where you're not welcomed, and you have to make do with what you have, with biology that you don't understand, creatures that you don't know if they're dangerous or not, what could be eaten or not. And on top of that, you put one of the biggest causes of anxiety for me, the Leviathans. When we all hear Leviathans, or the word Leviathan itself, we think of an underwater huge monster. Sometimes it protects Atlantis, sometimes it's a different type of animal or a creature. But in this one, they're huge underwater creatures that can and will come for you. So the times I've seen those creatures, I have to be honest with you guys, haven't been pleasant for me. Now, how have I dealt with? Well, sometimes I just thread through. Well, sometimes I just keep on keeping on. That's the best I can do. What bothers me is not the monster itself. What bothers me is that it can be anywhere, and sometimes I can't see, neither in front, nor behind, nor below, and there's nothing up. I can only see some part of the ocean up, because I'm already deep underwater. And my spider sense, is tingling because there's possible danger in any corner. But it's an awesome game. We don't even know what's lurking in our own ocean. Now imagine in an alien one. I think that's part of the mystery of Subnautica. The developers understood that the biggest fear that we have, it's the unknown. Not gore, not ghosts, not anything of the sort. So they used that in their favor. And of course they sprinkled it with, some massive, scary ass creatures that I really like the designs of, but they're still fucking massive and scary. So if anyone feels the same way about the depths of the ocean as I do, I would recommend you to play the game. Try it out. It's awesome. And who knows? Maybe you're like me and you'll experience different things and it'll help you out with your anxiety, figuring out that at the end of the day, it's all in your mind. Well, and in the dead zone, but we don't talk about that anymore. This is Out There Cassette. Be kind to yourselves. And remember, when you stare at the abyss, sometimes the abyss is staring back at you. Good night.